Welcome to the Harikatha podcast, and I'm Bhakti Lalita. And today we are observing the disappearance day of Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj, our beloved Śrīla Gurudev. And the disappearance day in Sanskrit is called Tirobhāva Tithi. And when we celebrate the appearance and disappearance of great souls, it's called Avirbhav, appearance. Disappearance is Tirobhāva, manifest and unmanifest. And great souls like Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Govinda Mahārāj, they're not born like us in this world. They appear and they disappear, like the rising sun and the setting sun. So Tirobhāva, the day a great soul leaves the world, means they're unmanifesting themselves, they're concealing themselves, they're disappearing from our external vision. We saw this take place with our Śrīla Gurudev. Sunrise and sunset, and being with him on his disappearance day was indeed like watching the sun set. And I was there with so many of our God brothers and God sisters on the day our Gurudev left the world. It was in 2010. Because we're on the lunar calendar, it's a different day. Sometimes the months are varied. And that year it was in March. And on our Indian calendar, the actual day he disappeared didn't appear. It was like a typo, but we found that it was no coincidence that that day was missing from the calendar. It was a wall calendar with all the days, and I think it was the 26th of March. It went 25, 27, no 26. So many of us were with him. He was not in good physical health, showing a lot of symptoms of poor health, but that went on and on for so many years. And we always just tried to serve him and keep him comfortable and give him what he needed. And he had his own nurse, Kishori Didi from the United States, came to serve him, his very dear disciple. She served him as a nurse, and there were so many of us serving him in various capacities. And this particular year in 2010, we were all following Ekadashi, which means the 11th day of the month. And the following day, Dwadashi, was the day he left the world during Brahma Muhurta, which is just before sunrise. It's like 96 minutes before sunrise. It's a very auspicious time, very auspicious day. He was always very much attentive to astrological timings and calculations, and he chose his time to leave the world on this day, Dwadashi, during the early morning hours. And he appeared to be struggling with some breathing, some lung difficulty, and his nurse, Kishori Didi, offered some breathing apparatus to help him, some oxygen, and he refused that oxygen. She tried to give his medicine, he refused the medicine, and withdrew from this world. He, like a great yogi, they can shut down their life air and unmanifest themselves. And that's how our Srila Gurudev left the world. Went into meditation, refused any kind of support, any kind of intervention, and left his manifest form. And even though we saw for so long he was unwell, it still was a shock for all of us who had been living with him for so long, traveled with him, were with him in so many places and in so many circumstances. It just felt unreal. And that moments later, the news started to spread that Srila Gurudev left the world. This was taking place in our temple in Kolkata, in Dum Park. And people started coming from all over the place. Friends of his, devotees from Navadvip and other temples started to come, and we all chanted and sang. And people we'd never seen before, who knew him, who adored him, they came to offer flowers, respects, and joined us. His whole veranda became full of auspicious personalities that some of us never saw. And in the days leading up to his disappearance, we saw that he started to withdraw and become a little unavailable, unreachable. And one particular incident took place where we saw Srila Gurudev speaking to someone that we couldn't see. Some sadhu came to see him. And this is not uncommon when some great souls getting ready to leave the world, mystical things happen. Some visitor came from an unknown location to see him, some sadhu. And our Gurudev was talking to him. And then he asked us, please give him some prasadam, some food, something to eat, something to drink. But we couldn't see him. And there was some chaos, how to serve him. And finally, a little asana was made and a plate of food was put for him. And we asked, whoever you are, wherever you are, please accept our offerings. So we were in Kolkata on this day that he disappeared. And so many devotees came. Some we knew, some we didn't know. And we traveled with his divine form from Kolkata to Navadvip. That's like a 3-hour journey. And there he was given Samadhi. Samadhi is a burial that takes place with lots of traditional, customary ingredients, like covering the form with salt, giant mountain of salt, and a bathing ceremony, and so many Vaishnavas came from different temples in Navadvip and Mayapur to help us. It was such a painful moment, but at the same time it was extraordinarily beautiful and auspicious. He left the world on his own terms, during his own time, during auspicious moments, and so many great souls came to see him off and offer their respects, and we had so much support from everyone. And finally the Samadhi was complete before the sundown, which is the procedure, and a tulsi plant was placed on top of his samadhi. And just at that moment, small drops of rain fell from the sky. It's called pushpa brishti, flower rain. It's a type of rain that they call in Sanskrit pushpa brishti. It's when something auspicious happens, like the demigods are throwing flowers down. The sun was shining and setting, and tiny, tiny drops of rain were falling and watering the tulsi plant on top of his samadhi. And I felt like this pastime of him disappearing was something like out of the history book, something out of something you'd find in the scriptures of when a great sage or saint is leaving the world. It was just like that. But I knew tomorrow, the next morning, we're going to realize what happened, and it's going to all hit home, and it's going to be very painful. We had so many devotees with us. Devotees were jumping on planes from all over the world, coming to offer their last respects and to participate in his disappearance festival, which took place maybe a week later. But I remember waking up the next morning like, what happened? What have we lost? And someone like myself, I'd been living with him for almost 18 years, close to 20 years in India. And being with him on his travels, it was a huge shock. And waking up knowing he's not with us. And he was our everything. He was such a larger-than-life figure. He was also not just our master. He was like a father. He was like a friend. He was like a brother in some ways, because he was so accessible and so affectionate, so loving, like a mother. He was everything to us. And it was time, in my mind, I realized, like, now, if I'm going to survive this, I have to grow up quickly. I quickly need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and have the strength to continue. And, this moment in time when the guru leaves the world, that's the ultimate testing time for the disciple. It's the fire comes, we get tested, and the fire will come to test our degree of being a real devotee, a real disciple, a real follower. And that fire came full force for all of us. And that fire didn't stop burning for years. So that was a huge challenge and time for growing and time to reassess and recalibrate and navigate ourselves in separation with His divine grace, how to go on, how to proceed in a way that would honor everything He taught and expected from us, living within the parameters and the boundaries of what we knew that He established for us. So much to process and so much to adjust. And so many instructions were there, but my main instruction I had from Srila Gurudev, he wanted me to encourage the devotees. Just be a source of encouragement. That means I need to be well adjusted in my spiritual life and practice, where like I'm sorted out, I'm okay, and I'm going on in an authentic way, and I need to be able to support others and to be encouraging to others. So that was a very growing experience, and all along I could feel our Gurudev with us and backing behind us, his blessing with us, and coming in touch with that faith that he's only left physically, but spiritually he's there with us as our divine guardian. And also having to go on to the next level was urgent. Have to go on and understand more of the universal conception of Guru, as Srila Śrīla Mahārāj talked about very often in his talks and in his books, especially Sri Guru and his grace. He talks about a more intermediate stage. You know, at first we approach our divine master, inquire and surrender and serve and stay fixed to the instructions of the Guru, and not look here and there and take from everywhere. Just be chaste and learn from our master. Then a more intermediate stage, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, then we can start to see there's that acharya mam vijnana, that actually Krishna is the Guru, and he's revealing himself through divine agency. And there's so many gurus, and where we are going, our ultimate destination, the land of the Lord, Goloka Vrindavan, that's the land of gurus, where everyone will look after us and knows what we need more than what we know. They know better what is good for us. And we are entering into that plane where everyone will be our guru. So, growing and developing our understanding and vision of Guru is necessary. And I found that very urgent. If I were to survive and continue, I'd need to go a little bit deeper and understand that I'm surrounded by Guru. All my god brothers, god sisters, all our devotees, our Guru is living in their hearts. Everywhere in the environment, Guru is there, coming to teach us. We just need to adjust ourselves and our vision to see and understand that the Lord is revealing himself in so many ways, in so many forms, coming to teach us and to uplift us. So that was very necessary for my survival and for everyone I know. All of our god brothers and god sisters to some degree had to embrace a new level of understanding to go on. And of course we had, our Gurudev left us with so many wonderful guardians, like Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vimala Vadut Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Bhavan Janardhan Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vijay Trivikram Maharaj, and so on. There's an army of guardians that were left to us by our Gurudev in his will and testament. It is all clearly stated there that these guardians will be there to support our mission and serve the deities and the devotees, and that we can take shelter of them. And during the days after our Gurudev left the world, we were all assembled in Navadvip, West Bengal, and having these beautiful morning classes every morning where we'd all come together and hear from each other about the glories of our Gurudev and the pastimes of our Gurudev, and processing what had just happened, and helping each other get through this very critical moment in our lives, losing our Divine Master, or at least becoming physically separated. So those classes, they went on for a few weeks, and every day we'd gather and we had a grand celebration of our Gurudev's disappearance. And it was something life-changing, and we knew it was going to happen, but when it did happen, it was something we had to experience to grow. We can't always have that physical hand to hold. We need to go deeper and find that hand in through faith, through devotion, through surrender. So that test came, that fire came to test our real allegiance. Are we real disciples and followers, or is it all just a sham? Are we just bogus disciples and followers? That test came to all of us in a very severe way for years. So, now we're 15 years later, still here. Sometimes, I've set the bar really low for myself. I'm still here. I'm still here at his feet, trying to serve, trying to encourage the devotees. I'm trying to keep myself sorted out and keep myself well adjusted and within the boundaries and parameters that he made for us, which is very extensive. We have a lot of freedom, and one thing was very empowering about our Gurudev. He trusted us, gave us a lot, like a long leash, and he would say often, like, my devotees and disciples and followers, they know what to do. They know what is good and what is bad. And when we would make mistakes, he was not quick to correct us. He would give some time for self-analysis, for self-editing, self-adjustment, realize, some course correction is necessary for myself. I need to adjust myself. He gave time for that so we could adjust ourselves. Sometimes we would get chastised if we were lucky, and that meant he appreciated us and he knew that we had faith and we could handle it. But for the most part, he was very trusting, very liberal, and giving us so much freedom and space to grow and learn and adjust ourselves. And so, I always feel at least like I'm still here, and I'm still trying to be your real devotee. Maybe that testing period is still going on from time to time, and those tests can get finer and finer, more subtle as we go along. But with faith, with conviction, with surrender, we know that His support is there behind us, and Krishna is there helping support us and well-wishing. Always support coming from every direction if we are faithful and we are sincere. So it's a bittersweet occasion. What great fortune we received, what causeless mercy we received from our Divine Master, who was so great, who was put on his chair from his guru forcibly. Srila Gurudev did not want to be in the position of guru, and he offered so many times, I will serve whoever you wish. He would say that to his spiritual master, Srila Śrīla Mahārāj. You pick someone, I will support them. And Srila Śrīla Mahārāj would say, no, it is you who I want to pick, and you to sit on that chair of guru, represent me. And otherwise, he said, I will break the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. I will dismantle it. I'll give the deities respectfully to Puri Maharaj's mat. They can worship the deities, and I will break apart this mission. And Srila Gurudev knew, this is not what would make Srila Guru Maharaj happy. Then he's finally surrendered after so much hesitation. He's saying, okay, I'm your goat. I'm your sacrificial goat. You can cut my neck, cut my tail, serve you as you wish. So our Gurudev sat on this chair of spiritual master. It's a very heavy service to perform, where one must be transparent, the transparent medium of the Lord flowing, that divine current, that Rupanuga Dhara that's flowing through. And our Gurudev did that through surrender and service to his spiritual master. We received that divine connection. And that divine connection's eternal. And we are confident that if we just not make offense and we be sincere to the best of our capacity and surrender ourselves, then everything will be revealed to us, and we will be uplifted and supported and be safely situated at the lotus feet of the Lord, in the land of the Lord, where all our gurus have gone. Srila Gurudev specified very clearly, our line of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is the line of Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj. And anyone in that line, we have a very specific and exclusive destination at the lotus feet of Lalita Devi, under guidance of Lalita Devi and under guidance of Srila Rupa, Sri Rupa Manjari. And our gurus are situated there. And that is our ultimate destination in the service of Radharani. That's our prayojan, the ultimate goal, where all our gurus are situated and serving eternally. That is our divine prospect. And that's what connection we received from our spiritual masters. And that's what our life's purpose is for. And so we pray for more sincerity, more faith, more surrender. We pray for service and separation, and to please our divine guardians, and to nourish and nurture everybody around us, and to be instruments of our masters. So our Gurudev would say, at least in one instance, I heard him say, when a great soul, when a great saint leaves this world, they cast their glance all over the surface of the earth. And if anyone remembers them, calls their name, that blessing, that merciful glance will be showered upon us. And we will get their grace. So that divine glance is there for all of us. We're all living under that divine glance. And continuing in this way and celebrating this day in a bittersweet moment, knowing how much have we gained and what have we lost from in the physical sense. We remember all the details like it was just yesterday, and living with these memories, processing them, and feeling the loss, but feeling so much has been given to us, more than enough to fulfill us for the rest of our lives. So, all glories to His Divine Grace, Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj, our beloved Guru Mahārāj, and Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj, our divine grandfather Guru, Bhagavan Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, our great grandfather Guru. We pray for their grace, and we pray to remain fixed and never go astray, never forget our divine connection and our service life. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj, Tirobhāva Tithi Mahāhotsav ki jai. Jai Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Premanande.